So today we have a 2009 GMC Tahoe, or GMC Yukon. Yeah, Yukon Hybrid with the check engine light on. Here's the note that was left. Car was filled with gas. After that it began to stumble. Check engine light is on. Service tire pressure monitor system message. So we're going to do a network scan and see what kind of codes it reports. So we're going to do a network code scan on this thing, and I'm sure there's going to be some codes, but we're mainly concerned about the ones in the ECM, PCM. But we'll see how many controllers it picks up in this hybrid Yukon. Engine misfire detected. Well, that would make sense. Evap system small leak detected. P0442. No CAN bus message with gateway instrument panel cluster. Lost communication with instrument panel. Lost communication with instrument panel. Lost communication with instrument panel. Lost communication with an airflow control feedback circuit short. The battery are open. Left front tire, right front tire. I noticed the tire TPMS message. Lost communication with instrument panel. No CAN bus gateway instrument panel. Seems to be like there's something going on with the instrument cluster, but they never mentioned anything about that. That was a fairly quick network scan. Anyways, go back to the 27 modules it scanned. Random misfire and P0442. Obviously the 442 is just an Evap system problem. It's not likely related to the misfire. But let's have a look at whether or not this misfire is truly random. Let's go into engine and into data and the misfire data. And it's very important that you not clear the codes until you look at this information, because once you clear the codes, this is going to be wiped out. So misfire history on cylinder number 2 is 199, cylinder number 4 is 177, cylinder 6 is 26, and cylinder 8 is 6. And then over here we have misfires on cylinder 1 of 59,232. 624 on cylinder 3, 205 on cylinder 5, and 16 on cylinder 7. So is it possible they put some bad fuel in this thing, because whatever is affecting it is affecting all of the cylinders? So I'm going to save this recording. Pause, file, save, collected data, and this saves this misfire record. Put it in my GM folder. 2009. So that'll save to this vehicle work order. Now we're going to go out of here and we're going to look at freeze frame data to see what was happening at the time. That it's not missing right now. So that'll be in the codes menu. No, sorry, my mistake. Well, it'll be in freeze frame failure records. So engine misfire. So there's 2 records stored here. Let's have a look at the first one. Distance since last failure 6,120. Warm-ups 255. So that's an old record according to that. Short-term fuel trim and long-term fuel trim numbers were reasonable. You know, plus or minus 10% is allowable. Let's see what the temperature was. Vehicle speed was 0. Engine speed was 800, so basically it was idling. Engine runtime was 14 seconds, so it was just after a startup. Ambient temperature 32 Fahrenheit. Intake temperature 42 Fahrenheit. Where's coolant temperature? Well, this doesn't really help me much. That was the first failure record. Let's look at the second one. See if it's any different. Looks to be about the same thing. Intake air 35, coolant 32. Let's look at the run time. 9 seconds. So again, this was on a startup. 9 seconds, I don't think it would even be in closed loop yet. Never do understand this distance since first failure and last failure. It doesn't realistically make sense to me. 6,360 miles since the last failure, and 6,117 miles since the first failure, and 255 warm-up cycles. Not much help, this one. Both of these occurred on a on a restart. Where the heck is the coolant temperature? It's got to be here. Where the heck is the coolant temperature? Oh, right there, 32 Fahrenheit. So this is on a cool start. I wonder if this thing got some contaminated fuel, some diesel fuel put into it by accident. Remember, his note said, since fueling it runs poorly. I'm going to have a call to this with this customer and talk to him. So I decided I'm waiting for the customer to call me back with regards to how much fuel they put in it, but they bought fuel and shortly after that it started running poorly. So I'm going to try a purge and seal test. I've cleared the codes. It's about 85%, 90% full, so I hope it allows me to run the test. I want to see if there's a serious leak in the system. So this test, we're going to watch the fuel tank pressure in inches of water. And right now it shows negative 1.6. And it's not venting, and it's not purging. Well, let's command the vent solenoid on 30% and watch it build a vacuum. And then click the seal option. So I got interrupted by the phone there. This thing actually seemed to work pretty good. We'll try it again. Draw it down to about 8 or 9 inches of water pressure, and then click seal, and it should hold vacuum. Oh, it timed out now. Vacuum too strong in the Evap system. I went just a little bit too far. Usually if you exceed 9 inches of water, it aborts, because that'll actually create such a low pressure in the tank it can actually start doing some damage to the tank. Let's try this again. Let's go fuel tank pressure and purge duty cycle. Oh my goodness sakes. Okay, let's try this one more time. I've cleared the codes out of it. I'm going to do an Evap purge and seal test just to see if there's a leak right now. Mind you, that 456 is a small leak, I believe, but you can get some kind of an indication. Fuel tank pressure and purge volume, purge percentage. Command it to about 30% purge, and watch this vacuum when it hits about 8. Click the seal button and it should hold vacuum. If it decays vacuum at a significant rate, then there's a leak in the system. Now it is losing some vacuum, but it's certainly not losing it that fast. Now the fuel level is about 80 to 90%. Fuel level 84%. I was pretty close when I said 80 to 90. So it won't take very much. There's not much air volume above the fuel because it's nearly full, that it'll affect the pressure in the tank quite quickly. I am going to take the gas cap off and look at the seal, and I'm just going to clear the code. Got off the phone with the customer with regards to the fuel level. He bought, his daughter bought 3/4 of a tank of fuel, and I don't think it's diesel fuel that was put in because it wouldn't run as good as it does. Right now, according to the engine data, fuel trim data, it's neither adding nor subtracting fuel. Let's have a look. You know, fuel trims, short-term trims are 0 to 5. long-term trim on bank 1 is minus 11. That's a little odd that you'd have minus 11 fuel trim on bank 1. Minus 10, minus 11. Well, I think we're going to go for a road test with this thing. So I just came back from a fairly significant road test while monitoring data on the road test, and there is misfire cycles and misfire counters, and not a single misfire counted on this whole drive cycle. 4,600 frames of data. So at this point we're going to have to blame it on potentially contaminated fuel, possibly got some water or something in that last fuel event. Maybe recommend some gasoline antifreeze in the tank. And we're going to do a routine service on the vehicle because it's due for an oil change. So I decided to have a look at some of the data related to the hybrid drive system in this. This is data list in the battery energy control module. It has 20 volt or 20 cells at 17 volts per cell for a total battery charge of 345 volts. Now this is a fairly low, I think it's about 30 kilowatt hour battery pack. By today's standards that's pretty small, but it is a hybrid, so it's designed to burn gasoline, not save fuel. Stated charge is at 70%. Now this thing's been running quite a while and it's up to operating temperature. There's no reason for it not to go into idle stop, but it hasn't. I don't have the hood open. One of these modules, I'll have the status of, here's the hybrid powertrain control module. Data display. Auto stop inhibit reasons. Let's see what this auto stop inhibit reasons. See if the hood was open, if it's in run crank, state of charge, battery pack temperature, operating conditions. That's pretty vague. It won't run in hybrid mode in reverse. As soon as you put it in reverse, it automatically starts. If it was in idle stop mode and you open the hood, it'll automatically start the internal combustion engine. Battery pack temperature. I looked at the temperature a few minutes ago and they were all 46 degrees Fahrenheit. Just operating conditions, whatever that means. Auto start inhibit reasons. Oh no. Oh well. So I decided to do a network code clear to see if that would make any difference in this idle stop enable. But there's no reason why it shouldn't go into idle stop mode. It's been running here in the service bay for a while. They're not complaining about it, but oh well. In the hybrid powertrain control module is a test where we can ask it to stop and start. So it's idling right now. I hope we can hear that on camera. Click stop. And it goes into idle stop. So we've got 343 volts of battery pack. And it's charged at 71%. There's the cell temperature, maximum cell temperature 48 Fahrenheit. ICE cranking speed commanded RPM. Let's see what that says while it's restarting here. That's pretty quick. Commands it to 800 RPM to start. It goes from off to running virtually instantly. There's no conventional starter in this thing, of course. Well, let's do it. Maybe it's because it needs an oil change. Is that, no, that wouldn't make sense. Just throwing some ideas out there. It's at 3% oil life. So I'm going to do an oil change on this thing and reset the oil life monitor.